Hello and welcome back. So in the last video, we have gone through what variables are and we have declared our own variable in the Python. So in this video, we will go through some of the naming conventions which are best practices to follow defining a variable name. And also it is being followed by most of the code bases. There might be some other ones depending on the code base, but these are like some golden rules which you should know and you should remember to declare your variables. So at first, number one, variable names can only contain letters, numbers, and underscores. It can start with a letter or underscore, but not with a number. What do I mean by that? Suppose I am defining a variable like message and it is equals to hello. So this is a valid variable, this message, and there is no problem with that. What we can do, we can use some underscore. This is totally valid variable name as well. We can use some numbers as well, like message 1 or message 2. This is totally valid variable name. We can use message underscore 1 or message underscore 2. This is totally valid variable name. But what we cannot use one message or two message just like that. And as soon as I have write this variable name, my editor is not happy with me. So yes, so we should not use numbers at the start of the variable name, but we can use the letters and underscore as well. We can do this. Like if when we are doing this, like underscore message, so what it indicates is that, hey, we are telling, hey Python, we have a variable, but we will not use that. So whenever we have some sort of variables and we are not using that in the code, we should start with underscore in that variable name. It is quite common in the code base, like the larger code base, and we often use underscore for that. So whenever you are declaring a variable which you will be using in future to manipulate data, to print out or something else, so you should not use underscore at that moment. Like in the first of the variable name, you should start with something like that message. But whenever you are not using that variable at all, but you somehow need that in the code, so you can start with underscore in that case. But other than that, you should start with some letters, right? So this is the point number one. Let's go to point number two. Like spaces are not allowed in variable names, but underscores can be used to separate words in a variable name. So like we cannot use like greeting and then a space and then message equals to hello. What opened? So this thing is not valid in Python. We cannot use space in our variable name. But what we can do, we can just go here and remove the space and replace it with uh, an underscore, and this is totally valid variable name. So if you have some like a big variable name and you want to separate it out, so you can use underscore inside the words to separate the words out, and that will work totally fine. Now let's go to number three, like avoid Python keywords and function names as variable names. So what do I mean by that? So there are many of the reserved keywords in Python. Suppose one of them is def. This def is specially to indicate that, hey, we are declaring a function. We will learn about it more when we will be learning functions. But for now, you just remember that, okay, so there is a def keyword which we use to declare a function, and we cannot use like something like that, def is equals to 1. So this is not a valid variable names. So what we can do, we can go to Chrome and say Python reserved words. Let's zoom in a bit. So there are several reserved words, like in this Google like search, we can see like false, def, if, else, and so this sort of things you can go through on and on. You can do a bit research to see like what are the reserved keywords in Python. So we cannot use this, like all of this, in a variable name, because it will clash. Python will not be able to understand like, okay, so if he is writing def, so is he mentioning def as a function or is he mentioning as it a variable? But def should not be a variable, def should be a function, so on and so forth. So whenever you are declaring a variable, please keep that in mind. There are some of the reserved words in Python which we cannot use. And then again, so I am removing that. And then the one of the important things in variables, that it should be short and descriptive. Like the variable names can be a bit longer, but please avoid making like a variable which is like one line long like or 50 characters long. This is not a good variable. Variable names should be short but descriptive, like this message or this greeting message. Like we can see, okay, so this is a greeting message, that is why this is here, and this is a normal message, although I have like written the hello in every time. Like I can write like greetings. So that might be a bit helpful. So you can see like, okay, this is a greeting message and this is a normal message. So that is why we are writing this in this way. So yeah, so please keep that in mind. Long variable names are totally okay, but please avoid making a variable which is 50 or 60 character long maybe. But it is totally okay, totally fine to have long variable names, but we should keep that in mind. The variable names, if that is short and descriptive, that is more useful to the end user. So yeah, I think this is all it about this video. Let's catch up in the next one.